Sounds a little weird to hear this on a Tuesday. I'm like, what game is starting?
It's unnatural.
I'm like, give me my beer, the Cowboys are on. I need something to take away the nerves really quick. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome in. Again, this is AfterBuzz Sports' new football show we got going for you, all about the NFC East. It is called the NFC East Reactions and Updates. We got 4 panelists on the way. We have 3 right now. We have the Cowboys fan in the house. My name is Jenna Bussiere. We got Josh for the Giants, Steve for the Eagles, and DeAnjilo, who, just like the Redskins, is a little late to the party. He's a little bit of a slow starter, but once he gets here, I'm sure he'll pick it up on the offense.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And if not, there's always next year.
Right, always for the Redskins.
Always.
Always.
Again, my name is Jenna Bussiere. You can find me on Twitter at Jenna_Bussiere. And Josh?
I'm Joshua Rodrguez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_. Let's go Giants.
And I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. Fly Eagles Fly.
So, unlike my other 2 co-hosts, who it makes perfect sense for them to be a fan of their team because they are from that geographical area, I am one of those really annoying Cowboys fans. I apologize in advance. You can already hate me.
I hate
Guess
people like
where
you.
I'm from? Not Texas. It's New Jersey.
Oh!
So, I'm sorry, but I hate the Giants. And,
Oh my God!
I know.
You actually, you grew up in between where Steve and I grew up.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
We were actually just talking about this,
Yeah.
and I think it's funny as the resident supporter of the Cowboys, you can also represent what we probably dislike the most about Cowboys fans.
That's what I'm saying. It makes 0 sense, but at the same time, it makes all the sense in the world, or in America, because it's America's team. So
Don't worry, I'm a
we're
Manchester.
Not anymore.
everywhere. I
Not
know
anymore.
it. It's annoying. I know how awful I am.
I'm a
but
Manchester
I'm
United
sorry.
fan, so it's the same exact thing, just across up.
They're the Cowboys.
God.
of
They are
Major League Soccer.
the
Yeah.
well, they're the. I think they're the most popular franchise in
are.
sports, and then the Cowboys are behind them.
So
Yankees.
call me a
Cowboys
front
more-
runner, call me whatever, but we're gonna get
I'm-
back on the bandwagon after this bye week. And DeAnjilo is from DC as well, so he will be your resident Redskins fan when he gets on in here. So you guys, New Yorker, Philly, so it makes sense for you guys. Josh, should we start with you?
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, the Giants won their first game this week.
Oh my God.
Are you back?
No, we're not back.
Are you making a turnaround?
We're not making a turnaround. Do not be
No?
fooled by that game. I think that was more about the Broncos. Steve was saying that earlier off camera. I think it was more about the Broncos just not showing up to play and taking the Giants for granted. The Giants are not a good football team right now by any means whatsoever. Their defense has underperformed this year. Eli has not looked good, and McAdoo's play calling has been terrible, which I'm glad he gave the play calling up this weekend. They looked a little better, even without Odell and their top 4 receivers. But I think it was more about Denver just not showing up than the Giants actually making a turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely. And why was Ben McAdoo ever in charge of all of the offensive calls anyway?
Well,
instead of
because
their OC?
they brought him over here to be an offensive coordinator. He was an offensive coordinator for 2 years with Tom Coughlin, and Eli posted some really good numbers with him around. I think a lot of it had to do with Odell Beckham as well. And so when he took over the reins, I think it made sense. I was the offensive coordinator. I worked with Aaron Rodgers. I made Eli a little better, so let me make the play calls, but it just wasn't working out.
And who would have thought? So going into this game, Denver had the #1 defense against the rush. I think they were only allowing an average of 50 yards per game of running yards allowed. And the Giants, who have one of the notoriously worst run games in the league.
Yeah.
How do you? So even
You can't even the offensive line is awful. They made a couple adjustments this week. They played a little better. Actually, it was the best game from the offensive line that I've seen in about 2 years from the Giants, which is weird because you're right. Denver's been shutting everyone down. And when I see not just like average running backs, like they shut down Zeke. Who else did they shut down? They shut down some superstar running backs. And for Orleans Darkwa, who's basically the
I was
backup.
just gonna say.
Are you kidding me?
He sounds like Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Like, what is?
Yeah.
I think there were multiple moments in that game where he was looking back like, wait, they didn't catch me?
Right. Wait, there was a
That's a
hole to
dream.
run through?
How am I 10 yards?
Yeah, I mean, it made no sense. I mean, I like Darkwa better than Paul Perkins, who's second-year player from UCLA. Paul Perkins doesn't really make anybody miss. He goes down on first contact. He's honestly one of the worst running backs in the NFL, to me at least, starting-wise.
Wow.
So getting Orleans Darkwa in there was nice, but to make that much of a drastic difference was, like I said, I just think Denver didn't come to play.
And 117 yards in the day for him, right?
Yeah.
And Zeke gets 9.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott, one of the best in the league, gets 9 on the Denver's defense. No one saw this coming.
Right.
I think a different Denver showed up Sunday night, but I think you're actually discounting the Giants a little bit.
Why so?
I think we did see something from them on the defensive side at the very least to really show that they paid attention to what Denver was doing. Whether they showed up and did it well that day is to be seen, but they definitely showed up and actually, like, none of those plays were gimme. Like, the defense played hard and actually forced the turnovers that made the game.
Right.
And pretty much demoralized Denver, and I think part of it was to be down 10-0, then 10-3, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, I was doing a show here in the middle of that game, but I want to say it went 17-3 before the half.
Pick six.
It was a pick six. Like, that's very demoralizing.
Yes.
That I think it was less about the team that showed up and more about how the team dealt with being 17-3 at the half against a winless team.
Right. The
winless team versus a lossless team.
Right.
And how they felt, and they just felt so demoralized that they just couldn't come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Giants' defense is their strong point. I mean, last year was their bread and butter. This year was supposed to be as well. And they haven't played terrible, but I mean, Eli Apple has regressed this year for whatever reason. They're picking on him. Jenkins, they started picking on Jenkins all year up until last game where he finally stepped up. He had a pick six and he did his job. But it's just that I don't know what's going on. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie left practice, got suspended for leaving practice. There seemed like a lot of turmoil going on.
Practice?
We're
I was
talking
going to
about
ask you
practice.
about that. It seemed like he kept getting in arguments with McAdoo, and they couldn't get on the same page. So McAdoo, why not? McAdoo suspended him, but it does look like he is going to be back, and he will be against Seattle.
He just got reinstated. Which is,
exactly.
I guess it was for one game.
So that lasted long.
Yeah, and you know, when that happens, when you find out as a Giants fan you're 0-5, this is before the Denver game, DRC leaves practice, he gets suspended. You're like, what is going on? Does McAdoo even have the team? And if McAdoo can't even get the offense going, which is supposed to be his specialty, why is he even the coach anymore? And listen, I'm not going to go crazy after one game. I don't think McAdoo's job is still safe. I think he should be on the hot seat, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely.
So I know it's one bad season and he won 11-5 last year, but this offense has been putrid for 2 years. The only time they got anything going even last year is if Odell made a big play.
And it's only his second season as head coach.
Yeah.
So do you think after the season it's too early to make a head coaching change?
That's the thing. If you lose your team, if you're a general manager and you see that someone loses the team, you have to recognize that and then make a change, because it makes no sense having a coach if he doesn't have his team involved and incorporated with anything.
Because head coaches have no shot anymore. It's like, I feel like they're in such a tight microscope. If you're not going to the Super Bowl in your first 3 years, there's talks about you being on the chopping block.
That's
at least.
true.
It's like we're too hard on them almost.
I agree with you on that, but if you see that the players respond to the coach and they're trying hard for that coach, almost like a Jason Garrett, like, what has he done for you guys? I'm not even trying to
We're gonna do that
because I don't
already.
think he's a good coach. I really don't think. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's very average. Like, he's just there.
Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's just the guy standing on the sidelines with headphones on. He doesn't really do anything for me. But apparently, no one really has beef with him. So therefore, Jerry Jones never found a reason to fire him. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, Jerry likes his guys, and he's loyal to his guys. No matter, 9 playoffs that Tony Romo's been to, and won 2 playoff games. I mean, he's loyal to his people. So Jason Garrett hasn't obviously done much, but he's keeping his staff in order because he likes who he likes.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a part of the organization, so maybe I can't speak upon that. But anyway, welcome our Redskins fan,
DeAnjilo!
who I keep wanting to call you DeAnjilo Hall. Is that okay with you?
I'm gonna be like the Redskins, hopefully we'll come at the right time. We'll and that's why you're the man, Josh. This is the only time I'll ever handshake anyone else in this division. Especially you. I'm sorry, you're a Cowboys fan. That's the end of this friendship.
We probably hate you more than anybody in this
The
panel.
thing is, I actually I just like the Eagles the most, and the Giants are actually up there too. Just because I'm from New Jersey, again, doesn't make sense. But being around all my family are all Giants fans. Being around so many people trash talking at school, it's when you're in Jersey, it's like you're either Giants or Eagles. Yeah. And then the occasional Cowboys fan, we just get it from all angles. Yep. So you guys the most.
Well, but
there's some. But they're out of this is the NFC East.
I actually do want to point out something I noticed when I was at AT&T Stadium for WrestleMania. So it was 2 WrestleManias ago, and they ran out of souvenir WrestleMania cups. I collect souvenir WrestleMania cups. If you're going, get a cup. Get it. I know, and they ran out of cups, and I waited in line in concessions, and they were like, "We're out of the WrestleMania souvenir cups, but can I interest you in a Dallas Cowboys souvenir cup?" To which I said, "I'm from Philadelphia.
How dare you?"
Yeah, like how dare you? I'd rather.
Hey guys, just gotta interject. It's Levi Stadium. AT&T is Giants. I'm a Niners fan. I gotta put that out there.
No, I'm talking about Cowboys Stadium.
He's talking about Cowboys.
But for WrestleMania, was at Levi.
Three WrestleManias ago was at Levi. I'm talking about the WrestleMania after that.
Got it.
If you went
Sorry.
to
Yeah,
AFTERBUZZ,
Sorry,
I cannot let him get away.
Sorry.
I know, I love it. I appreciate it. Bringing
I'm sorry.
it. But if you went to
WrestleMania's
Jerry World, you would know it was
WrestleMania's
AT&T
got
Stadium.
real confusing because this was WrestleMania Star, not to be confused with WrestleMania Play Button, or not to be confused with most recently WrestleMania Sun.
I'm really confused.
No.
I stopped watching the wrestling.
But look at the logos.
around
They
the time The
stopped
Rock
using a
retired the
number.
first time, so I'm
They
sorry.
stopped using a number. It's a whole
Okay,
thing.
you hate the
Anyway.
Cowboys. We get it.
Long
We
story
get it.
short,
Let's
we
move
all hate the
on.
But I found out that
Back to football.
I found out that I hated the Cowboys, whereas a bona fide Cowboys fan didn't even register to me. It didn't even register to them
Well,
that the Eagles exist.
that makes sense.
They-
Oh, yeah,
it's
okay.
actually
Well, they're not a
very
good fan.
one-sided
rivalry.
It's a
You guys were
one-sided
pretty
rivalry.
good, you know,
No,
not too long ago.
well,
Yeah.
I can say that the Eagles are the team I dislike most. I think it
Usually
comes
the
with
Redskins are the forgotten ones because we've
You
been
are absolutely the forgotten
bad
ones.
Yeah,
Definitely
so-
the
I think
forgotten
it's
ones.
We
still
hate
the
everybody.
Redskins.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Except for this year,
I-
some
I
people
don't
are
get
hiring
it,
us, and
man.
I'm confused on why people are hiring
Really?
us.
I have more faith in your team than you do this season.
You do.
I drafted like half your team in my fantasy team. Well, that
Oh.
hasn't been working out too
Did you
great.
get Jordan Reed?
No, I took Jamison Crowder.
Okay.
We'll get into
Oh,
that. Okay,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
finish up on the Giants
Okay.
because we're getting all over. So now 1-5.
Congrats.
Are you?
by the
I
way.
know. Congrats. So Super Bowl bound or first pick in the draft?
I'm hoping first pick in the draft. Listen,
Okay.
Eli's
Yeah,
getting old.
yeah.
We have to recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
We drafted a quarterback in the last draft, and I've never seen him play. I don't really follow college like that, so I don't know. But if you have a chance to get like a Sam Darnold or a Josh Rosen, then go for it. I mean, we're gonna suck. We suck. Suck. Just suck. Eli's old. He's old.
You know
Let's
what's
be
gonna happen.
honest right now. Let's be honest. He's old.
Yeah, he's old.
And he's starting to suck.
You know what's going to happen. You're going to
Right.
go 7-9.
Stop it.
You know that's
Yep.
exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
You're
we're
gonna get high.
gonna win like 6 straight, go 6-5.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Oh,
I
my
call
God.
I love it.
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, but
That
no.
would be the worst, actually, to go 6-5 from here.
But
Imagine
yeah.
they just going like a full-blown 5-game win
Stop
streak.
it.
You already
after.
started with the
this.
Broncos. I mean, good
Stop
job.
this. No,
Right?
not good job. Not good job.
It's not like you flew out the Jets or something, or
No.
you know.
I mean, I want a situation where like the Packers went from Favre to Rodgers, where the
No,
Colts
let's not
went
talk
from
about the Packers yet.
when the Colts went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. We want something like that as a because you can't find a quarterback. If you can't find a
I
quarterback in
get
this
you,
league,
yeah.
you can't win.
Yeah, I
Well,
get
yeah.
you.
And it's also worth noting that like Eli Manning has probably 3 more good years in him
2
somewhere
to 3.
else.
Maybe. I like
else.
him.
Wow.
Well, he's not.
Let's bring him
because
to the Chargers,
the
where he
Giants,
was
from what you're
supposed to
saying,
be.
that they should be playing for the draft, they should be playing for the future. They shouldn't want to pay Eli Manning what he's worth
That's
for
true.
the final 3 years of his
That's
career.
true, but-
they should let him go somewhere else.
Yes.
And then retire there in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that finish this year with Eli, because I think Eli still has a little bit in him, and then have Eli play next year with that rookie, whoever you
Yep.
draft.
He's
playing
gonna
behind
get
him.
you guys like a Super Bowl win next year, and you're gonna
Yeah.
be saying Eli forever.
I'm a huge Eli
Church
fan,
of
though.
Eli!
No,
You should
I'm a-
be.
No, I'm a
He
big.
gave you 2
I
Super
defend
Bowls.
Eli to death. I really
yes.
do, and I think a lot of the problems they have on offense, a lot of it is not him. A lot of it, most of it is the offensive line. To be
So
honest
line,
with you.
absolutely.
And then it's
And you haven't had a running back in like 4
exactly.
years.
I mean, we found one this Sunday. Hopefully he stays
And Wayne
around.
Gallman the week before.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's not all on Eli, but the reality situation is Eli is getting old, and if you can't protect him, he's useless.
Also,
All right.
under your plan, I want Kurt Warner to become quarterbacks coach to oversee Eli Manning, who oversees a rookie quarterback, just to come full circle to his rookie year.
All right, let's move on because we have the whole NFC East to get through. We'll give Steve his
talk
5
about these
minutes
guys
to boast and shove it in our faces that the
So,
Eagles are top of the,
enjoy it
not
for
even just
now.
NFC East, NFC in general, 5-1
Big game
right
coming.
now.
Big game
That
coming up.
was the only piece of news I have.
We're number 1.
5-1. We are one of the best teams in the NFL. We are 5-1. We are the best team in the NFC, let alone the NFC East.
Well earned.
Soapbox.
Well earned. Yeah.
Also, Smallwood returned to practice, so there's a good chance he'll
Okay.
make it, especially since he has another day. There's a good chance we'll see him play Monday. He'll actually start Monday against who are we playing Monday?
I don't know. I think the team in red.
Team in red? The Washington
The
team?
Washington team.
I haven't even
Washington
set that
Ours.
one up. To your point, when the Eagles went 3-0 last season, people were very much like Super Bowl or bust. Super
Yeah.
Bowl or bust. The Eagles are the truth. Wentz is
Yep.
my hero. I'm getting tattoos. That wasn't me. Like I thought last year was what it was supposed to be, a rebuilding year.
You could see
I
to
think
the
this
future.
year we have the tools.
for Super Bowl.
Why does it always?
No,
Sorry.
let's
trying to see where
sorry.
you
But
are.
let's talk about it. Let's talk.
Okay.
You're first in the
Playoffs
NFC
or-
East.
Yeah.
Rodgers is hurt.
That's a very hard
Yeah.
word for an Eagles fan.
But I mean, as an
Super Bowl?
objective,
It's a layered statement.
as an objective football fan, I'm looking at this just from the NFC standpoint, not even just the NFC East.
Yes.
Rodgers is down. The Vikings don't really have a quarterback right now.
Falcons.
The Panthers don't look legit, and you just beat them at their spot. The Falcons are losing to teams they shouldn't be losing to. Why not the Eagles? Honestly, why not? You guys.
Oh no! If you're asking me why not the Eagles, there's
Yeah.
no reason.
Okay.
They're the best team in the NFL. They're the best team in the universe.
I have a couple
However,
reasons.
They're the best team in the NBA and the NHL.
however, I think the regular season is fairly merit-based,
Okay.
whereas the playoffs are the playoffs.
And it'll be his first year, which is a big deal.
Yes,
it's
it'll
a big
if
deal.
if we go to the playoffs this season, which looks very very likely,
Yeah.
it would be his
Yeah.
first playoff.
That means something, yeah.
And then the playoffs, the single elimination playoffs in the National Football League, are just a completely different beast
Yeah.
from anything else.
Yes.
And then he argued that the Super Bowl is a completely different beast from the playoffs.
Yeah.
So to ask, do you think the Eagles can go to the Super Bowl, is to like ask someone who's 25 and in the Air Force whether they think they can go to the moon.
All right.
I think that's a fair.
Your
So-
medical game has been one today.
I think.
bro.
I think. I
So
think.
it sounds like you
sound
don't have.
I don't mean that, though. And I'm
No,
not
no.
an Eagles fan.
No,
I put the Eagles in the
he could be the
sheet,
best
though.
Air Force pilot in the world.
Yeah.
He only so many people get to go to the moon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you guys got
no.
both sides of the ball right now. Like, what's better, your offense or your defense? Honestly, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Well, your front
Our
seven's
defense,
dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
Our front seven's dope,
But
but
your cornerbacks, I mean, I think you're very susceptible on that end. But
we're
if your
susceptible to the
front,
long game. We lose.
yeah, if your front seven gets a quarterback, which they're really good at doing, I do think the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender because I think the NFC is wide open.
I think
wide
I would
open.
put them at the same category as the Chiefs. Yes, these teams are performing the best, but these are two very unproven teams. So when we say, are they the best in the league? I'll say, yeah, sure. But at the same time, Super Bowl contenders, that's a whole different conversation. You still put the Patriots in the Super Bowl, even though we haven't seen enough from them to believe that. So
Patriots could be 0-6 right
and
now.
I'll probably
could
still have them
you
Super
could
Bowl
still put,
contenders.
you could
So
still
that,
put
I
them
think
in.
I get you. There's just a different tier. But to give you some credit, like this start has been a lot more impressive because you've beaten better teams. Last year
Definitely.
you had a weaker schedule. So
We definitely had a weaker schedule, and I think it screwed with a lot of people's expectations in the
Yeah.
first 3 weeks. Because I remember heading into week 1 thinking, if we can go 500,
yeah.
if we can go 500 with a new coach, new quarterback, like
It's a
we're in
good
good
story.
shape.
You hit
Like,
the
this is-
Browns week 1. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
like-
great situation.
And then we went 3-0, and all anyone could talk about was the Super Bowl. And I'm like, could we get a bye week? Can we like?
Yeah, and
That's
then
good.
what happened that season?
Well, yeah,
so
like-
hopefully you're.
But then we wound up being exactly what what
7-0.
most Eagles fans would have expected we'd been before the first kickoff.
I think the Panthers game proved a lot. Especially defense, you held them to 71 yards.
I agree.
You guys look great. The Ertz-Wentz connection is through the roof.
Keep going.
It's annoying to watch.
He's enjoying
but
this.
It's annoying, but
go on.
honestly, even though you guys are the team that I probably dislike the most, like you have to give credit where credit's due.
Great.
Watch you guys, like you're a great football team right now.
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
on.
Great's very
You don't think?
Well,
You don't think you?
I don't think
they're
there's
that
I don't
great?
think there's a great team in the NFC. I think there are a lot of good teams in the NFC, and I
Agreed.
think with Rodgers going down,
What
it
do
makes
you-
it wide open.
Okay. Yeah.
I would have had
too
that
late, right?
because I still even though the
Um,
Cowboys, I hate to say this, even though I think the Cowboys are struggling right now, I do think at their best, I think the Cowboys are better than the Eagles.
At their best.
Yes.
But we won't see that for 6 weeks.
Maybe.
Not so
Well,
soon.
actually, the news.
We'll get to that
we
when we
got
get to
more
the
updates?
Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
We do. We
There
got
are
more
updates
updates
on
from
the
the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
My bad, I'm jumping.
If you miss like an hour of the whole Ezekiel Elliott update situation, you miss everything.
Yeah,
so
you
there's
do.
always something.
Well,
but we'll get to that.
I think the state Supreme Court in Texas has to decide on whether or not he gets to play this week, and then the U.S. Supreme Court gets to decide whether
No,
he gets to play.
while we're on it, I got a breaking news alert from my NFL app, and I wrote it down. Because I'm not good with the legal jargon, so I'm like, I'm just going to write this down word for word. So the U.S. District Court grants the temporary restraining order that was put in place from the Players Association in New York. So he is eligible to play against the 49ers on Sunday.
Okay, are we talking about this? Because I just think it's dangerous. It could spill over into the playoffs. And that
I
think-
was saying to Josh and
they
them
do
before,
that?
They should just
I
knock
think
it
it's going to
out,
be
bro.
like a
Just take
Tom
it-
Brady situation where he kept taking it up through the court and somehow, some way, he was able to push it until the
Until next year.
following
Well,
season.
from a very legal standpoint, the NFLPA has a very clear
Compelling
case,
argument,
a
yeah.
very compelling argument of we're not saying he didn't do what he's alleged he had done. What we are saying is that the punishment may have been unjust, and we were going through the courts.
Yeah.
And the courts ruled that the punishment may or may not have been unjust. And now the NFL keeps trying. And it's the NFL through the courts versus the NFLPA. And personally, if I were a player, regardless of this exact situation, I would feel very happy the NFLPA was this strong, fighting this strong for the players.
I don't know.
I'm aware.
I think it's
From a purely textbook,
Yeah, you're talking
like
about
robotic,
Not
human.
You're taking emotions away from it. But
You're saying like a Josh Brown getting 1 and Zeke getting
Yes.
6 is ridiculous.
that's
that is
understandable.
ridiculous.
But at the same time, the difference between this and say Tom Brady, we're talking about domestic violence.
Yeah.
And the longer this is, the longer his name is associated with it. I'm just kind of like, bro, just you're wrong. You're wrong. Take it. There is going to be a punishment for it. Take it and keep it moving. I mean, I can't say that you've learned your lesson if you're continuing to fight something like this in this way.
Also,
And
the
other
NFL
off-field behavior by Zeke doesn't help his case and his character. So
Also, the NFLPA wouldn't be doing this for him unless he was pushing for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
They
the
don't
other,
just pick up cases like this
That's
and
true.
try. Like he's clearly lobbying the NFLPA to do this on his behalf.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be just when looking at the past of how the NFL has approached those situations with the length of suspension against other players involved in domestic violence, but actually I'm taking a separate road than a lot of Cowboys fans. A lot of Cowboys fans don't seem to care that these are the allegations and just want him to play. But I think there's these allegations for a reason, and it's taking a step in the best direction from preventing domestic violence at all as the NFL continues. So a 6-game
morally.
suspension, I can deal with a losing season or some bad games to take a step in the best direction.
Morally, I think a 6-game
Morally,
suspension
exactly.
is very sound.
Yeah.
Legally, I think it's on uncharted, if not rocky waters.
And I hate that we're even getting to the meat of this because it's so
I
back and
know.
forth. I mean, you've seen so many conflicting evidence in this case, and the text messages that she sent to friends saying, "Lie, can you lie about this? What happened? You don't know if he's
I'm-
guilty. That's the thing you never know. That's
I'm
why
genuinely,
this sucks." And
I'm
it's so
genuinely staying away. I'm genuinely staying away from the actual nuts and bolts of this story.
Yeah.
But it's hard to, the emotionless legalese of this, I can understand.
Yeah.
I'm aware most can't. Like I understand anyone who is like, no, but this happened. How can you possibly take emotion out of that? I understand your point there.
Yeah. All right, now we're done with the Eagles. Do we have anything else to talk about?
I have one last piece of news.
Oh, do you?
We're top of the NFC, guys.
Oh,
Philadelphia Eagles are top of the NFC.
I think we've said that before. Now you're just being a rude Eagles
It's a
fan and
horrible
living
day.
up to that stereotype.
What?
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 So I will never go to a game at Lincoln Financial. I've been to FedEx a few times.
You
I think
have?
I'm 2-1 at FedEx.
Oh, you've been there? I've probably been there twice, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're a Cowboy fan. Yeah, you guys are very successful in
Yeah.
Actually, my father has gone the one time, the Colt McCoy game that I call it.
Oh
when we beat
my
you guys
God,
in overtime.
can we
My father was there. And,
In Dallas?
Yeah, he was
That
in
game?
Dallas. So
Wow.
So we're as a family
Colt
1-0.
McCoy. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Family.
All right, so we're on to the skinny skins.
Hey. Okay, so look, before I talk about my Redskins, you guys have to know, I've been hurt a lot. So I'm very pessimistic.
I know.
Very.
We know.
I see the pain in your eyes, man.
How you are for the Knicks is how I'm for the
Oh, don't
Redskins.
get me started on the Knicks. Oh, God, why?
I'm sorry. So I'll say I had low expectations, 6-10, 7-9.
You do.
More surprised so far. However, this 49ers game was my benchmark in regards to, okay, have you guys graduated from being able to defeat teams handedly that you should defeat? The answer is no. Granted, they won, so I've seen seasons where we just didn't win those games. So there's progress there, but our next few opponents are the Eagles. We have the Saints coming up. We got the Vikings coming up. We got the Cowboys coming up. So this 5-week stretch is really important to me to know, okay, if we survive this, 3-2, even 2-3, I'm like, okay, we're a quality football team. So that's kind of where I am. I've seen so many different things. I've seen people rank us number 9 in the power ranking, number 7. I don't think we're a top 10 team right now. I haven't seen enough. Terrell Pryor has a lot to prove. Like, we have a lot of question marks. But that's kind of where I am as a Redskins fan so far. Yeah. That's it.
Very objective.
This is the objective side
Yeah,
of
this
it.
is all I have.
So Justin Hopkins is not going to be playing against the Eagles.
Yeah, so we lost
Is
our
that
great
that
kicker.
big of a loss to
He's a
you?
really good
Because he
kicker.
almost lost the game
Yeah.
this Sunday.
I know he struggled then, but he's been really consistent. But
Yeah,
it
you
only-
standing by him?
it
Because I
was-
know a lot of Redskins fans are like, it's time. Get
Well,
rid of him.
we've had Kai Forbath, we had Sean Sweets, and we've had some questionable kickers that have struggled in patches, but have been good overall. It don't matter to me if this next kicker sucks, but you know what I mean. Like, at least with Dustin Hopkins, I know what to expect. He's usually pretty good with his long kicks. It's those ones he should make that's in question. So we'll see.
I also think kicker is one of the most difficult jobs in the National
so
Football
hard.
League.
It's so hard.
Because it's not the physical ability to kick the football through the uprights. I would argue the majority of the team has the physical ability to kick a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah.
It's the ability to do it under the immense pressure that you're the person whose sole job it is to kick the field goal, to put actual points on the board.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous as the person holding it.
Tony Romo.
I gotta catch it.
That's one of my happiest sports memories ever. Can I just say that? One of my
He's
happiest
not
sports
even
memories.
on the team anymore,
I
people.
will never live that down.
Let him get rest.
I'll
Let
say,
him rest.
as a Giants fan, I think Tony Romo is the most underappreciated player of my generation.
Seriously.
We love Tony Romo. He gives us so many interceptions in late game situations. Oh man, you have to make to the playoffs like 2 times.
Well, speaking of late game situations, I want to see Kirk Cousins come through in the clutch in a big game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
I think that's the big.
He's
all in on
impressive.
Kirk because it doesn't seem like the organization even is at
I know.
times. 3 years going on with this franchise tag situation, right? Or 2 years that we haven't you haven't signed
two
into a
years in
long
row.
term.
I am all in with Kirk Cousins with the understanding that there is no better alternative. But this
Kirk
year,
is great. He
no,
really
he's gotten
is.
better every year.
Yeah,
he looks really good this year so far. He's even starting to scramble. So I think it's
Hey, he rushed for a touchdown
Yeah, he rushed for a
Sunday.
touchdown.
What's up?
He was a threat against the Chiefs on running the ball, but so I think this year he's gonna have a great year and he's gonna go to the 49ers. And,
Right? Oh my God, I think he's second under Chris Thompson on the run game right now.
Yeah, he is.
And Carson Wentz is running all over the place too. I looked at his stat today. He has 32 rushing attempts. 32.
That's
what
a
kind
lot.
of quarterback? Like dropping his shoulder, fully getting in there, like not even sliding
I
and
love
trying to
that.
protect
I got me
his own.
pumped.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
when
real
quarterbacks
pumped
do
for
that.
it.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, you're
You
about
hate
to
it.
break.
Also
you know who
growing
my
up,
You're used to
quarterback
Tony
was?
Romo, yeah.
Also growing up in Philadelphia, you get kind of accomplished to a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donovan.
Donovan,
ain't
Randall,
wrong.
Vic. You have
Yeah.
Randall. We
Yeah.
had Vic for a
That's
while.
why
I think
the Eagles are my least team I hate the least because of the Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb. I just love those teams. They're
You
so
have,
fun.
you're just not around enough Eagles fans to hate them. I mean, they're
That's what it
brutal.
is.
That's
They're brutal.
I hate Cowboy
seriously.
fans because
They're brutal.
Cowboy fans in DC are
I went to
so-
college by Philadelphia. And
That's what I'm
it's,
saying.
Yeah.
That's
Hold
what
up,
I'm
I
saying.
thought we were here talking about sports.
Sorry, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
We're just talking about people
But we-
now.
I like you. I like you personally. I like Steve.
So far, we'll see.
I like Steve. I've done enough shows with Steve to know that he's good too.
Steve's a good dude. He's good.
Yeah.
All right, so the Cowboys had a
Let's talk about your Cowboys.
How they doing?
Meet 'em, boys.
They had a much needed for me and the rest of the faithful fan base this week, a much needed bye week. I needed a little break of the high blood pressure on the weekends. Disappointing loss to the Rams. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Heart-wrenching loss to the Packers. Giving Aaron Rodgers a minute and 13. You could give that guy 20 seconds, and it would have been the same outcome.
Your
I
offense
knew
had
that.
the ball for like 9 minutes and 30. How much longer can you hold the ball?
Oh my God, that's what I was thinking too. Exactly. So much flack on the play calling and scoring the touchdown with the minute 13. And I was thinking, what else are we supposed to do?
Yeah, you're supposed to score.
Like, just
You gotta
keep
score at
running
some point.
inch by inch until
Zeke, fall down.
And what if we never get a touchdown? Like you
Right.
have to score the 7 eventually
No, you're
anyway. You want the points.
You're right.
Okay. Yeah.
No, you're
So-
right.
Let it out.
You're right.
Let it
Aaron
out.
Rodgers.
You
You're
should
in
be
a
more,
safe
you
space.
should be,
You are in a safe
Cowboy
space.
fans should be more mad at their defense rather than the play calling.
The defense, you knew this going into the season,
Yes.
though.
Yes, you
This
did.
is a new
Yep.
system. We lost so many guys to free agency. These are rookies. These are people that we've picked up on new signings.
Yeah.
These are people who are learning and adjusting, and we knew going into the season that the defense was going to be the weakest point. And thanks a lot for your Giants week 1, making it seem like we were better. It gave us this kind of false sense of identity that, hey, the defense ain't looking too bad. We held the Giants to 3 points. They're supposed to be this dynamic offense.
And 3 points is their season high.
Yeah.
It was week 1, of course. It was our season high.
But Sean Lee will be back for the 49ers game. So this is hopefully taking the steps in the best direction. The defense needs to make stops. It needs to make turnovers.
Yes.
We have 7 forced fumbles. We've recovered 2 of them.
That's just unlucky.
And 2 interceptions, none of them for aggressive enough run back or no picks. You know, there's just the stops aren't there.
Right.
So,
So you're beating the Niners or what?
oh my gosh.
They're 0-6. They got to win at some point, right?
That was my thing.
Yeah.
So they're 0-6. They're hungry for the win. How long can they keep going losing? Is it going to happen to us coming off a bye?
Honest opinion, I think the Cowboys smacked the crap out of them.
You think?
They should.
Yeah.
Think we
I think they-
coming
I
in
think-
with a chip on our shoulder need something to.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming off the bye week. I think you're fresh. I think Dak is incredible to me.
Dak is.
God.
Yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over. The Niners aren't going to turn you over. The type of teams that Dak has trouble with are teams that get to the quarterback pretty quickly and put pressure on him. And the Niners are not. Their defense is actually not that bad, but they're not going to do it.
They play tight games though. They
Yeah.
haven't been blown out yet.
I mean, Dak.
He's kind of good when he sees the blitz coming, though.
Yeah.
He's good at
No,
scrambling out of
but
the pocket.
he struggles against teams like the Giants, like the Vikings, teams like he'll probably struggle a little bit against the
He's
Eagles.
gonna struggle a lot against the Eagles.
If the Eagles front seven, which they probably will.
Oh, they're going to get to him a lot.
Right, because the Lions not as
confidence.
the Cowboys have a good line, but it's not last year's line. So teams like the Eagles will struggle against, but a team like the Niners, he's going to be fine.
So
And, yeah, he'll be fine.
Question for you: is Cole Beasley your best receiver?
Oh, I love Cole. He was our #1 receiver last year. I'm actually not sure who is in
Dez
number
is
one right now,
struggling.
but I know for sure it ain't Terrence Williams either. Oh, it might be Bryce Butler. Bryce Butler's killing it for us.
Bryce Butler.
Okay, so Dak's thing is always kind of finding the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
So this year, Bryce Butler for however many 2-3 touchdowns. Last year, Cole Beasley. He's good at spreading the ball, but for some reason, him and Dez's connection has not been to the expectations that you would think.
Dez can't get open. That's what it is.
That's-
He can't beat.
Yep.
He can't beat anybody off of the snap or anything like that. He's not as. I mean, he's physical, but he's just not as quick as he used to be. He can't create separation if he can't get open.
Yeah,
I mean, what
it
else are you
seems
gonna
like
do?
the receiving core in general is kind of struggling with getting open too. We're relying a lot on the run, a lot of Dak running for the first time,
That's
so
fine.
kind of saving the play on third downs.
That's fine. You run the ball, Zeke, control
Yeah.
the clock. There's nothing
Well-
wrong with that. Dak can throw 20, 25 times a game. You could still win. That's not a big deal.
Because he doesn't
Or-
turn the ball over.
And if Zeke's not there, you just hand it to his lawyer.
There it is.
How long is that in your back pocket?
6 weeks.
Let me see your wrist. You write that down in pen on your arm.
Oh man.
You guys need to drop Terrence Williams. He shouldn't be in the league.
Oh wow. Jeez.
I'm sorry, Terrence.
You hurt yourself when you said that.
That was me.
Terrence
No, keep
Williams?
Terrence Williams.
I enjoy seeing him to drop the ball and not
I was
want
gonna
to get
say
out of
drop him
bounds.
like he drops the balls. Terrence Williams is like the bane of my existence because he'll drop the balls after
Like
ball.
the show.
He has some great plays.
But
though.
then at the same time, like such clutch touchdowns, such
Inconsistent.
clutch plays sometimes. Like I don't know if I love you or hate you,
Agree.
but I'm on the fence
You know who
continuously.
Martavis Bryant is on the trading block right now.
Yes, you
he's
see that?
unhappy in Pittsburgh. If you can get someone like him to blow the top off the defense and just create plays with that wide, it'd be ridiculous. Because Dak doesn't really have a playmaker on offense. It's kind of weird saying that because Dez was
one
been
playmaker.
so
Yeah.
well, yeah, Zeke.
He has.
I
he
mean,
can
in
spread
the
I mean, there's
receivers.
players, but it's the
Yeah, I mean,
as a
difference
receiver-
maker.
Witten is solid. I think Bryce Butler's a nice like red zone target or big guy to throw to, but he doesn't use him too much. And Dez is not Dez anymore. Cole Beasley's cool in the slot, short patterns, but he doesn't have that guy to like go get it, just run out and
Yeah,
throw
like
it to
who's
you.
their Julio Jones?
Yeah,
who's their
Martavis.
certain-
Martavis can do
so many
yeah.
off the
I
field
think
issues. He'll fit right in.
Exactly.
into
And if
Dallas.
he had someone like that, and if he had
I think
someone
it's
like
a
that,
part of
Yeah.
the requirement.
Des Bryant would be open more because they would have to shift to go.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great fit with the
Yeah,
Cowboys.
that makes sense.
Speaking as a Philadelphian who had season tickets the year Terrell Owens was there, I think everyone talked about like obviously how good Terrell Owens was,
Yeah.
and like the year prior our receivers were kind of garbage, but I think that was also something to be said about. It was still the West Coast offense. Like all that entire receiving core had great years.
Yeah.
Under Terrell, had a great year under Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
Because you either double cover Terrell Owens and then hope Todd Pinkston doesn't catch the football,
Right.
or Freddie Mitchell or James Thrapp.
Freddie Miltred.
Man, I'm going back on that.
I'm going back, but like, there's something to be said about a
I
massive.
think that means we're about out of time.
Great. Well, but there's something to be said about a
We're
good
running out of
target.
time. Let's do a speed round prediction.
Okay.
So New York, Seattle.
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 Not even fair.
I'm happy the Giants guy said it first. Like I could.
I almost wanna
Seattle
say-
and the under.
I almost want to say New York just to play
Hey,
devil's
they
advocate.
beat the Broncos. You're
Yeah,
going
but the-
7-9. You got to beat somebody.
DeAnjilo, you must stop
Against-
this.
At
You're-
least 6-10.
You're good against good defenses, apparently. Okay. Philly, Washington.
Philly.
Philly.
Oh, I gotta say Washington.
I got Washington
Yeah,
too.
there we
I'm
go.
with you.
Hey.
How long can this train keep steamrolling for?
I think we
Gotta run out, just
Gotta
like
get-
the
we're
49ers
better than
can't.
a division
Philly beats
game,
Washington
you
and
know?
loses next week against.
Okay.
Because it does beat you guys a lot. I think he's like 4-2.
Yeah, the Redskins have like had their fair share of having the Eagles' number. So
I
let's
agree.
See if this goes.
I still don't see it.
There's
this
no
season.
reason you
Like,
should say the
Only
Redskins.
Of
because
course, no, there's no
only
reason.
because it's in Philadelphia. This game was in Washington. I take
I'm
Washington.
point,
completely
very good point.
I'm completely biased. I'm not going to say that. you're
And the
gonna
lights
win
on bright. Like the argument for the Philadelphia
Monday
Eagles to
night.
not do
Monday
well
night.
this Monday. The writing isn't not on the wall, just historically for the franchise. That this would be the moment we completely screw it up.
Yeah.
I don't see it. We're a great team.
So
like,
let's.
I can't
We're
wait.
great.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward
Still
to
saying
it.
Philly.
Yeah.
Still saying
Okay.
Philly.
San Francisco, Dallas.
Dallas. Easy.
San Francisco.
What?
All right.
I want to join you just out of pure hate for Dallas, but my brain won't allow me, so Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Holla.
Yeehaw.
If you're watching this from the future.
Any other games, primetime games, anything to go?
Oh, you want to do more predictions like that?
Wow, this is fun. I
Or
love
we
it.
could just be like,
All right,
not.
let me.
Only talk NFC East here,
My
DeAnjilo.
bad.
No, we can break out a little bit. Okay, let's pull up the Week 7 schedule. I didn't have them in my back pocket. Oh, Chiefs, Raiders, Thursday night.
Chiefs.
That's coming up next. Who you got?
Chiefs.
Okay, this one's an easy
What-
one.
very
Is
just-
anybody
I'm
going to
going
say?
Raiders.
Well,
Are
here's
you?
the
I'm
thing.
going
Here's the
Raiders.
thing. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, like I would have been looking forward to
You
this
would've said
game.
the
So
Raiders.
it's just he looks. Derek Carr's not healthy. He's not back. Amari Cooper's looking terrible.
Yeah.
The offense is looking old. It's just not the Raider team that I thought we'd see this year.
Is
Yeah,
this,
Amari
is it in
Cooper has
Oakland?
been a dud for me.
Yeah.
Oh, is it in
In
Kansas
Oakland.
City?
Thursday
It's in
night.
Is
Oakland.
in Oakland.
I'm
Raider
going
Nation.
Raiders. We're gonna have to keep ourselves responsible for our, so we can have a little record.
Andy
or something
Reid.
like that.
Oh, yeah,
all I'm
okay,
going to
let's
say
do
is Andy
that.
Reid of
Andy
why Kansas City.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going Kansas City as well because I don't think the Raiders necessarily have it in. Derek Carr. Okay, Derek
Yes.
Carr is back.
Yeah.
But is he fully back? Is he healthy?
question.
Amari
Nope.
Cooper, I agree with you, kind of been flaky, questionable.
What's the
Do
Sunday
one more,
night game?
One
Okay.
more,
One
because Sunday night. Yeah, this is Sunday. It's the Super Bowl matchup,
Ooh.
Super Bowl revenge. So we have Falcons, Pats.
I'm going Falcons.
Pats.
Ooh. That's so hard.
Pats can't
It's
stop.
in. I'm sorry. Is it in New England?
Yes.
All right.
Pats.
I gotta go Pats.
Falcons. Patriots cannot stop the passing game. Matt
Falcons
Ryan's
will
going
have
to
so
Falcons
throw.
lost to Miami this weekend,
It's
so
okay.
Pats.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt Ryan's going to have a
God, I want to go
field day.
Falcons now.
I-
Field day. They're going
We'll
to
see.
That's a good
Falcons.
game.
Falcons
though.
by 2 touchdowns.
That's a good
Whoa.
Sunday
Whoa.
night game.
Yep. Watch.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Watch. Hot take.
Guys.
All right.
I'm going to send you some sportsbook links.
Well, we made it out of our first show alive without hurting any of each other. So thank
So
you.
far.
Yeah,
We'll see what
so
happens
far.
after
We'll see how
Monday.
the season keeps going. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Jenna Bussiere. You can find me on Twitter at Jenna_Bussiere. And guys, wrap it up.
I'm Joshua Rodrguez. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_. You can also check out my fantasy football podcast, The Flex, on Fantrax Radio every Tuesday on Fantrax Radio. Steve.
You guys find me on Twitter almost exclusively. I'm at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. I tweet about Eagles games and whatever games and whatever other sporting
I
event
tweet
that'll get me
Eagles.
free Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Very important.
And I'm DeAnjilo. Hit me up on Twitter at DeAnjilo TV and at DeAnjilo on Instagram. Only hit me up if you're a Redskins fan. I don't know what I'm talking
And you guys talk really fast, so I guess I have to learn how to talk really fast too.
Good job,
All
good.
right, guys, peace out. Thank you so much.
about.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.